Hello, good morning, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian. It is a cold morning out there with gorgeous sunshine, so thank you for taking the time to train with me here in my studio and at your home. I have a chair, that's all we'll need for today's practice, a balance aid and some space on the floor. Let's start seated, check in with the head, neck, the ribs, and then we'll stand, addressing the hips. Sit, maybe you already are. How's it going? I'm going to turn to the side. While you're sitting in your chair, gently allow your low back to slump. It's easy, probably hear a little bit more often than we should be. From here though, imagine pulling in the femur heads, pushing the rib cage forward just a little bit, towards a posture we could hold all day. Let it gently relax. Not a lot of physical effort, but just that cognition. Pull, femur heads in, tipping the hips towards our cow-like posture, sitting tall, chin tuck, crown ahead, facing tall. Continue to sit in that nice, tall, and active position. At the head neck, we're already chin tucked. Let's take a rotation, if midnight is straight ahead, towards 2 o'clock. Chin in, rotate. At 2 o'clock, do a gentle chin nod. Return through looking on the horizon towards looking up. And then chin nod, tall, return center. Repeat on the other diagonal. Chin tuck, rotation. Gentle chin nod or flexion. Casually looking up, extension. Returning to the horizon, looking center. One more time, same thing to the 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock, exclusively lateral. Chin tuck rotation. Now looking more over the shoulder, a gentle chin nod, a gentle extension up, return to level, return through center. Last time, other side. Chin tuck rotation. Try to look on the horizon with the eyes throughout. Chin tuck, extension, level, and center. Let's repeat the same actions of the rib cage now. Remember to sit tall. I prefer to have my hands across my chest with the shoulder blades in a light retraction. From here, head and rib cage move together now as you rotate towards 2 o'clock. And then this time, do a little side bend to the back, through center, a casual side bend to the front, to tall, return center. Same thing, other diagonal. Rotation, if midnight is a straight ahead, 10 o'clock or 11 is appropriate. And from here, side bend, front, and then that back corner, return to the middle, reset. One last time each side. Chin tuck in, rotation through that rib cage, diagonal dip to the back, diagonal dip to the front, to tall, to center, and last time. Rotation, diagonal dip to that front corner, diagonal dip to the back, resume tall, center, and from here, let's stand up. Shake it out. Take your time, and from our standing position now, we'll work on our hip flexion extension and everything else that has to do with the ins and outs of the hips. Start tall. Could you pull a single leg forward, maybe using your balance aid, and climb the leg towards the knee? As we were seated, pulling in the femur, continue. The standing leg is tucked under, squeezing your butt cheek, and for 5 more seconds, continue to pull in the femur head. Hold for time, take your time, returning a leg to the ground, and repeat on the other side. Flex the hip. As soon as the knee approaches the hips or chest, the femur is being pulled in and tucked under. Hold for 5 more seconds, 3, 2, and return to the ground. One more time, this time quads parallel, gently bend the knee. Avoid hitting that chair in front of you. Gently cramp up those hamstrings or the backs of the legs while continuing to take both hips, posteriorly tucking or bringing the front of the hip towards the rib cage. Take your time, slowly extend, switch your balanced leg, and repeat. A knee bend. Quads remain parallel if allowed. If the knee is forward, focus on tucking those hips and gently through the butt cheeks, extending the hip as to kick the back. Legs parallel for a second longer, and then safely stiffen the leg. I see a comment. I hope it's sincere. Let's just check that out and see what's going on. Yes, it does. Thank you very much. Nice to see you here. We're working on those hips. We have flexion in the front, extension in the back. Let's continue flexion into a Captain Morgan's position. A little bit early for the Captain Morgan, but any time of the day is a good variation here. Flex the hip, climb the leg, femur head in. Then leg on top. From here, posteriorly tuck both hips. Squeeze your standing leg butt cheek. Continue to tuck under the standing leg and pull the femur head into the hip of the elevated leg. Create tension for 10 seconds. Can you feel that scissor-like movements? Squeeze your butt cheek. Easy off that tension. Now gently tip the tailbone back on both sides. You're probably already there with this elevated leg, but you might just exaggerate or shore up some of the slack. With the femur head pulling in, now take the standing leg and posteriorly tuck. Squeeze your butt cheeks, stiffen or straighten that knee. Hold for time, and then just easy on the off effort. To dismount this leg, let's retuck the standing leg, grip the floor with the feet, bend the knee, legs or quads to parallel, and then extension on the knee. Repeat that on the other side, facing sideways this time. So as you flex the hip, the knee comes forward, the femur heads in. Then gently place your foot on your block. Ensuring that those hips are level, let's posteriorly tuck. This is a little bit of that oversell, but this under direction this way. Straighten that knee, of course. And then keep this leg here. It's scooped under. For 10 seconds, pull this femur head in of that elevated leg. So this hip on the elevated leg is our cow-like tip. And here we have our posterior tuck or that cat. Stay, and then just relax. Now with both hips, do that anterior tip. So the punch bowl spilling out the front. Then keep the elevated leg in that position and scoop posteriorly tucking under and with that straight knee for 10, 9, 8. Every now and then, just go back to that tension. Can we pull in, tipping back? And grow tall, tucking under. Hold for a second longer, stay but chill. Then reset that tuck, casually bend the knee, extension through the hip, extension on the knee to our tall stand. Add some shakes and wiggles there. We'll return to those hips in just a second, but first let's make a detour at the feet. Standing in parallel, peel one leg up, as if you're doing that moonwalk, one foot pushes forward. Then we're on that demi point. Now let's push forward on that elevated leg, extending the hip. 2 feet flat on the floor. Repeat on the other side. Pull up, that high heel position, then press forward, extending the hip of the elevated heel. Repeat again. Pull off the ground. This time from that demi point or lunge foot, could we get towards the toe tip? Then the toe tip to the ball of foot and push the hip forward to heel connect to have the heel, connect to the floor. Pull off, demi point lunge foot, toe point, hug center. Then back to the balls of feet, push the foot forward, push the hips through. And last time, peel up, ball of foot, toe point. If allowed, beware of that cramp monster, flex over the toes. Enjoy that stretch or embrace that cramp. Then press the toes forward. Push the hip forward to have the heel return to the floor. Last time, other side. Pull, trace center, point. As allowed, flex over the toes. Center, center, center. Then press the toes forward. Push the hips forward. Shake it out once we're back up, nice and tall. Let's come back to that Captain Morgan's position, but first, a trial of that hip extension. The hips remain tucked under for both, and we gently bend a single leg. The ballet foot or the karate foot are appropriate. Now, gently reach back, but for every millimeter that we go back there, let's tuck under those hips remaining nice and tall. For 5 more seconds, squeeze your standing leg, extension through the hip of the elevated leg, 2, and then extension on the knee, or straightening the knee to tall stand. Repeat on the other side. We're tall, those hips are tucked under, and we'll gently transfer weight and bend a knee. We're reaching back with the elevated leg and tucking under on both hips. Squeeze your butt, Embrace that hamstring's tension too, but it's your butt cheek that's doing the effort to kick back. Slowly straighten the leg, finish nice and tall. From here, same idea in that Captain Morgan now, hip flexion out the front. And what happens when you start to bring the knee up? We pull that femur head in right away. Then we get to that Captain Morgan's pose here. Just a little stir of the pot here. I'm posteriorly tucking under to start. And from here, in a clockwise fashion, I'm going to take a circle around. My body is staying in the same place, but my hips are trying to move around those femur heads. I'm 3/4 of the way through, I'm back to center, and I'll switch directions. Out to that left-hand side, pulling, pushing, feeling the tension in those hips, tucking under. Now I'm 3/4 of the way through, bring it all the way back to center. From there, one last time, let's press down here. Push down on this elevated leg with the intention to lift up the leg on the floor. I truly believe it's not possible to do this, but feel that tension and share that load between that left leg or the leg on the block. 5 more seconds, let's still try. Pull off that bottom leg. Then relax. Squeeze your butt, bend your knee, extend that hip, straighten out. Shakes and wiggles. Repeat on the other side. For that again, we flex the hip. We brought the knee forward, pulling the femur head in, and placing the foot on your apparatus. The standing leg is tucked under, then the elevated leg is tipped back. From here, let's tuck under both hips. And in that clockwise direction again, just draw a little bit of that circle, pulling around those femur heads. Here I am about 3/4 of the way through my circle, and then scooping under to the return center, and then out to the side in that other direction, counterclockwise for me. Pull, push, feel those femurs slurp up in those hip sockets, finishing in the center, and then the casual knee bend, the nice hip extend, the straight knee, and of course, there's always time for those wiggles. Take your apparatus chair, move it off towards the side, and from here, we'll utilize that foot warm-up to transition to our sides of sit and wrists on the floor. Let's start, feet in parallel, knees towards over toes, just like we're skiing. Yes. Okay, from here, we extend those hips through. Press the hips, squeeze your butt cheeks, stiffen the knees. One more time. Knees towards over the toes. I thought that was the raven over there. Okay, knees over toes. Then extend the hips through. It is the raven. But from here, let's balance on those toes. Ribs over the hips, squeeze your butt cheeks, test your balance, and slowly return to the ground. From here, go knees over toes, but this time, peel the heels up. Sitting in that chair pose, press the heels, returning to the floor. Last time, pull up. But this time, extend those hips through, holding your first or second 2-footed balance here today. Slowly return to the floor. It's knees over toes, it's peeling the heels up and perhaps descending into your toe squat. Then stand up just a little bit, but hey, let's go right back down. And then it's knees to the floor. Extend those hips, shaking out, and time to address the wrists here. Step up, fingertips, index tips facing forward, and always landing fingertips, callus lines, and hands. Absorb that landing, and we'll utilize that in our crawls later today too. From here, the hands are screwed in, with those blood pits forward, shoulder blades down. Look at the hands, you're just slightly ahead. Every now and then I'll smile at the camera, but looking at the hands is a nice place for the head and neck. From here though, with those hands screwed in, let's first knuckle push up, get a couple Rice Krispie cracks out of the way. First knuckles up and down. Repeat for a couple more repetitions. And again, it's to stiffen the elbows and to build that rooting habits into the floor. Grip. Transfer weight to the index fingers, the middle fingers. Utilize all the strength of the digits there. And for 1 or 2 more, stiffen the elbows. Press, press, press. Then press so much that you flick your wrists and you shake a little bit. Next, let's just do a quarter turn at those hands. So it's still a hinge on those hips, fingertips first, calluses, and then full hands. I'll press to my right, shifting left. Pressing to the left, my body weight will shift to the right. Can you feel the place in between, the preload? There's a moment where you're pushing, and then you can press all the way through. Push, pull. Create nice tension back and forth. Last time each way. We can obviously just shimmy our shoulders here, but really feel the ground with the hands. In center, push away, wiggle it out, and shake it out. Let's just take a quick moment to sit in our splits, and we'll get into a little front roll after that. How are the splits? Sometimes we start there, sometimes we visit it in the middle of our workout. So here we are after a little hip warm-up, sitting tall in our splits. But we're remembering those tall sit habits that we started at today's practice. Pull those femur heads in, push your heart forward with, again, a little bit of that chin tuck. From here, go fingertips lightly on the floor and press a heel into the ground. Could you press a heel so much in the ground that the knee goes from straight towards bend, and then pull towards flexing the hip, and then just easy does it, extend away and stiffen up the leg. Repeat on the other side. Sitting tall, stiffen the leg, then pull, pressing the heel into the floor. The knee might bend a little at first, and then can you continue to pull through that range of motion? Hey hamstrings and hey hips, and then easy does it on the extension and wiggle to a new spot. One more time each side. Stiffen the knee, cramp up those quads, then press the heel into the floor. Continue to pull. Sitting tall, avoid the shift of that upper body weight away, and then easy does it, extend the knee and wiggle the leg to perhaps a new spot. My feet are getting a little sloppy, you gotta address that. It's either ballet style foot or karate style foot, one or the other. Keep it strict. Okay, last time over here. Stiffen the knee, then drag the heel, sitting tall. Could it go a millimeter more? And then easy on the off extension and wiggle to your new spot. Anyhow available for you, let's just get back to those hands, but this time set them up in our wide position. It's still, again, fingertips, calluses, hands, absorb that floor. With the hands in a wide position, turn a hand up at the hip. Then look away from that hand as to sniff the other armpit, and look through the window to connect the shoulder blade to the floor. From here, take a breath, exhale, and then press back. Same thing on the other side. Turn up a hand, look away from that side, and look through the window right there to connect the shoulder blade towards the floor. Press away, returning. One more, look through. Take a breath, progress if you know how, and then press through. And last time, turn up the palm at the hip. Bend the elbow, look through the window. Woo, pull the mic out of the way. Take a moment, and then press back. Let's continue to press. Push that floor away, and with no hands, could we assemble in our splits once more. Sitting tall in that split, use your hands and anteriorly tip those hips. Choose your foot position as preferred, karate style, or that ballet. And then with two hands on the floor, gently walk your body forward, prioritizing that extension or the straightness of the spine. Hold at a place that's a little challenging for you, and always come home safe, stack tall, and repeat if we can. Push the heart forward. It's like our telescope move at our bar. Pushing the heart forward, keeping the spine extended. Crown tucked, chin tucked, crown pulling away from those hips. Hold yourself in a new challenging position. Come home safe, stack tall. Maybe again, we can find a little bit of room. And one last time, sitting tall, pushing the heart forward. Are those shoulder blades retracted? Stay nice and compact. And then push away to center. From here, let's get quick shoulder blades. We talked about those just a second ago, and then we'll get on our crawls and more bars with our balance aid. On those hands, what is it? It's, of course, fingertips, calluses, and then those hands. From all fours or from the hover, if you're ready for it right away, retract the shoulder blades together. Elevate the shoulders, and throughout this drill, pull the shoulder blades back down. Throughout this drill, imagine the rib cage staying stationary and the blades moving around it. Repeat the retraction. Check. Repeat the elevation. That's the shrug. Then keep the rib cage extended through the T-spine, but wrap the blades around the body. Then pull them to the hips, scapular depression, and then repeat in retraction. Then from retraction, pull them down, straighten the elbows. Then push away from the body. Read an article and they call that the boxer's muscle, that armpit muscle right there. Then elevate the shoulder. Then retract, and from a nice strong position, push the floor away and shake out the arms. Let's repeat that one more time. Hover those knees if you want that additional challenge, or keep the knees down as you build strength and endurance. From hover or knees down, retract the shoulders, then shrug up, then push into the ground, then depress or pull to the hips and retract. Then repeat in the other direction as we pull to the hips, then we push into the floor. Elevate the shoulders, retract, then push the floor forward, tip your tailbone to the ceiling, and enjoy your down dog. In the down dog, the tailbone is reaching to the ceiling, and if you're interested to straighten the knees, pull the femur heads into the hips. Then pedal as you need, take your time, and already think about using the hands to push yourself back to a fold, tuck a chin, stack to tall. Again, pull the rib cage down to grow strong and tall. And we'll shake it out. Returning to those balance aids, let's open up those hips, internal, external rotation. From standing, pull a single leg up. Next, extend the knee to the front to tap. Externally rotate the leg inseam to face up. Internally rotate, hiding the inseam. Repeat, external rotation, inseam up. Internal rotation, inseam down. Pull a straight leg underneath the hips to tall and repeat. Pull up to the ankle, open to the side, extend the knee to place down. Internal rotate on the hip, hiding the inseam, and push the standing leg forward to stay square. Externally rotate the hip, inseam forward, and this time pull your standing leg back. Repeat. Press forward on the standing leg, roll in on the leg out to the side, and then with the inseams pulling together, finish to tall. Shakes and wiggles, repeat that on the other side. Pull up in the front first, check that the knee is again hugging center versus open to the side. So pull the knee in, straighten the knee, and point those toes if allowed. External rotation is the inseam facing up, and straighten that knee. I felt mine bend. Then turn in on the hip and keep the standing hip pressing forward to stabilize the movement. Then squeeze your standing leg butt cheek and turn out of the leg out front. Then turn in, hip forward. With the hip turned in slightly, knee straight of course, push the hip through back to your tall position. Repeat to the side, but start with the knee front. Then open the knee towards the side. Extend on the knee to tap the ground, and the hips are forward. We're externally rotated already, so let's turn in on that hip. Push forward on the standing leg. Turn out of the elevated leg, cramping your standing leg as well. Repeat for one or two more, turning in, straightening the knee, and trying to turn in again. Last time, turn out on this leg to the side, but finish with one more turn in as if your inseams are lining up here, and turn in on the lateral leg and pull back under to tall. Size a sit to the floor to explore our first crawl. Size a sits again are flat feet. Then it's like that ski stance. Oh yeah, knees over toes. Then the heels peel up. We descend in our toe squat. And with hands or without, we'll get the knees ground, extend the hips through, and crawl in our bear first. The bear crawl, it revisits that 6-point position we were in already. If we wish to lift the knees, let's press the hands forward, push your feet back, and pull those femur heads in to the hips. Hold for a second. From here, I'm going to go on a diagonal here. So now with all 6 points on the ground, lift a left hand, pushing and peeling off the floor, and the opposite side knee, and land out front. Now from this staggered stance, push forward through the hands, lift the knees and hold for a second, and return to the floor. With all 6 points down, remove the right hand, the opposing knee, and place down. Now in the opposite stagger. From here, push forward, hover, breathe, stiffen the elbows, and down. Adding these baby steps, or little bear steps, are nice ways to improve your awareness and core strength. Continue crawling around, if you know how to do so with those knees off the ground, a couple strides. I might get off the camera here, or if you're running out of room, just switch your direction. Always use those hands. Visualize a very animalistic way to crawl around here using the hands as they would use their paws. Return to a knees down position, and let's tip the tailbone back to the ceiling. Down dog from here, keep the tailbone anteriorly tipped, or like that cow, and if you want to straighten the knees, think pulling into the hips. From there, continue to use those hands, get to your forward fold, stack by pulling down, growing tall, and always those recovery wiggles. Back to our balance aid here, climbing the leg just a little bit for some core tension holds. We originally in the warm-up used that Captain Morgan's pose. We'll continue to do so from the knee, but with a straight leg out front. So we'll start down low first. Stay on a standing leg. Pull into center. With the knee in the same place, extend the leg and hold for time. Squeeze your standing leg butt cheek. 2 more seconds. Return the leg to that ankle. Then pull towards the knee or mid-calf. The knee stays in the same position, and we stiffen the knee, straightening out, holding for 2 seconds more, and pulling back into center. Sets of 3, because it's Lauren's favorite number. Let's pull the knee a little higher, squeeze your standing leg, and again, straighten out, and holding for time. Return the leg in, press tall, own the dismount, but shake it out in between, and repeat on the other side. Pull into the front, starting at that ankle. Hug center, extend the knee, and either the karate style foot or that ballet point is appropriate. Pull back into the ankle. Tuck under the standing leg, pull the femur head in as we climb towards the knee. Then it's that nice extension, hold, breathe, and squeeze. Then bend the knee, and if allowed, climb. If necessary, descend. Find that right place for you to challenge your movements for 1 more set. Squeeze your standing leg, flexing the hip, and holding that leg out front for 3, 2, return with control, press down with strength, and shake it out. Size of time, we're back to the floor. From here, it's knees over the toes. Then peeling the heels up, we'll descend. Hands, if they need, extend those hips no matter what. And from here, let's get the side directions going in a little bit of a stationary crawl, being the frog. I like fingertips down, calluses hands. Then open up those knees a little bit wider. Now, if allowed, turn out on the hips so the foot of the instep of the foot is flush with the floor. From there, find the elbows. Tip your tailbone to the ceiling, like we're again in that cow position. Then posteriorly tuck, scooping under the hips. Repeat again, tailbone tip away, breathe. How are those groin adductors on that? And then tuck or scoop under. If we're scooped, now imagine doing our hula hoop from the Captain Morgan. I'm tucked under, and now clockwise, I'll pull in and out of those hip sockets, and then I'm halfway through as I tuck under on the other side and bring it back to center. Then one last time, let's tuck under in the front, move that counterclockwise or opposing direction for you, and then again, pull around. The femurs aren't moving, but the hips are gently doing that car-like exercise around the ball and socket. From there, use your hands, press back, take your time peeling yourself back, and then size a sit up. We'll go hips extend, and then sit back, peeling off, toe squat up, tiptoes for balance, and then reset with our shakes. Woo. Hey hips. Repeating those leg holds, this time out to the side. Start with the knee pulling up in center. Then open the leg to the side. Start down low, knee stays in the same position, hips squeezing, pressing forward. Straighten the knee, hold for time. Pull in to the standing leg. Repeating, climbing if allowed, tucking under, ensuring the hips remain level. Next, it's the extension on that leg out to the side. Hold, squeeze, make it look easy, and pull back in. The third, the final on this side, is to climb the leg if allowed, tucking under the standing leg, and again, extension on the knee. Hold for 3, 2. Repeat the pull into the knee, centering positions, down with control, and then let it go. Finishing with control gives us that coming home safe vibe from before. It allows you to do it again and increase your range of motion. One more time, it's to the front, and we start it down low. Then we open that knee to the side. With the knee in the same position, we then extended, stiffening, straightening, and holding for 3, 2, pulling back in. The knee faces side and that standing hip is tucked under, and we climb towards the knee. The hips remaining level, extend the knee, hold for time, 2, bend the knee, climb if allowed, ensure those hips stay level, embrace the quiver, build strength and stability, point, hold, pull in with control, pull back to center, finish tall with our shakes. Crawling again, let's get back to the floor in that size a sit. Tall, hips, ribs stack over the feet throughout, the knees go over the toes, the heels peel off, we descend, knees down, hips through, and from here, let's walk around like that elephant. Hands down, tailbone tipped to the ceiling like cow. Pushing forward, straight-ish knees. They don't have to be ramrod straight here. Opposing gaits, right hand, left foot. That's my right hand, left foot. Then other side, left hand, right foot. Opposing gaits as you walk around, absorb that floor, push. Change your direction as space or creativity allows, or even side to side. It's hand and foot on the opposite side coordination. A couple more strides here in that elephant, and really focus on accepting the floor on the landing and then pressing the floor away. Let's return the knees to the ground, sit back on those heels, and from here, toe squat, then press down, grow tall, hold balance, reset with our shake. One more time on the bar here, and one more crawl around. Feet are forward, hips tuck under, pull up, extend the knee, this time off the floor. Now with a leg facing forward, open the inseam to the side. Then turn in on that hip, brush into center. Repeat to the back. Point the toe out the back as we extend the hip. Then open to the side. Then when at the side, turn in on that hip, hug back to center. Repeating, slightly higher if allowed. Pull up to the ankle and stay there, or climb towards that knee. Extend, pointing, open the leg to the center, and when it can't go further to the side, turn in on the hip, pull back under. Repeat to the back. Out to the back with a toe point, off the floor. Open the leg to the side, and when it's facing that 9 o'clock direction, continue to turn in on that hip, lose amplitude on the leg most likely, and pull in. One last time, we'll pull up to the ankle, then continue to the knee, and I shouldn't go too much higher from there. Then extend. Open the leg to the side, pressing those hips forward, and then turn in, stiffen the knee, pull underneath. I'm getting some bad habits. Use that balance aid, Ian, and you two at home. Point to the back. Open up. Reach to the side with a straight leg, and when it's at that side position, turn in on the hip, hug back to center. Shake it out. Repeating on the other side, 3 repetitions, low, medium, and probably medium again, or high. Point, pull to the standing leg, then point to the front, and open the leg. Inseam faces forward, hips extend forward, then turn in on the hip, pull underneath. Repeating to the back, extend, toe flick, open to the side, leg to the side, then turn in so that inseam faces down or kneecap forward, and pull. Continue to climb the leg, ankle towards mid-calf or knee, and then extend, point. Reach the leg out to the side. Press those hips forward. Then when it can't stay open, let's close it up. And then adductor, bring those inseams back together. Out the back. Extend the hip, point the toe, off if we can, then stiffen up, bring the leg around, turn in on the hip, pull into center, and last time, pull up towards the knee, point to the front. Cramp the leg, extend the hip forward, leg to the side, then turn in on that hip, quiver, quiver, then pull underneath nice and tall. Last time to the back, we extend the hip with a toe flick. We open the hip, bringing it towards that side position, and then turn in on the hip, bring it back to center, shake things out from there. Last crawl today. Size to sit down again. It's knees over toes, it's peeling the heels up, it's balancing. Whoa! Don't get too silly or cocky there, Ian. And then come through. Set up in your push-ups or high planks position on the ground, gripping hands. Then step back to your high plank and then kick a bum. Bring a leg through towards the hand. Take a moment and press the knee in the front forward and the heel in the back with a straight leg to the back. Then scissoring in, pull into center, then continue to pull to assemble in your plank. Last time, knee bend. Breathe. Press the front leg forward, push the straight leg back, chin tuck, spine long, then repeat by pull into center. Pull the front heel towards the foot in the back. Then continue to pull to plank. Last time each side, and maybe we either add a little push-up or personalize with a little rock or our little crawl. And then last time with the other leg through, straighten the back leg, push energy out the back heel, push energy out that front knee, and then peel or pull to center, crawl around a little bit, have fun in your crawl. And then from there, anyhow that you're in, stand up and shake things out. It's still a beautiful day. It still looks really, really cold. So enjoy what you're up to today. And I hope that this practice starts your day with strength, stretch, and great coffee that's right there waiting for me. So thank you for joining me here today live on Saturdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, where we play with our strength. Normally Lauren's here too. She'll be excited to be back next week. Have a great day to our patrons, our members, and YouTubers at large. Subscribe, like, and please enjoy your membership, and we'll look forward to connecting with you in our link letter on Monday. Stay strong, take care, let's train soon. I'm Ian. Have a wonderful Saturday. Goodbye.